They'll say, wow, did I work hard, but boy, was it great. Or they will be honest with you. That way you get a good sense of things. And I encourage you to do that. Any school that you're considering, you really need to engage. I'll tell you something. We get roughly over 80% of the applications we get, or what we call in our world stealth applications. It means that we get applications from people that we have had no contact with before. We have no record of them ever interacting with our office before, right? This means somebody just went online, they liked what they saw, and they applied. And we're grateful, we like that, we're happy about that, that's nice. But it still baffles me a little bit. Because how could you possibly get a sense of the school? How could you get a sense of the program? I mean, I like to think our website is that good, but I would suggest reaching out and doing a bit more, really engaging. Most universities have a lot of online events. They have a lot of orientation reach out that you can participate in. And I really suggest doing that, because that's not only going to give you a better sense of where you want to apply, but when you choose to apply, it'll make your application that much stronger. Because you'll have more to talk about. You'll be able to speak to the fit of the program that much better. Remember, it's all about the fit of the program. The better you understand the school, the better you're able to convey that in your essay. What I wanted to say. About the community too. When you're looking, there's the overall culture, but then there's also the community. How do the students feel on campus? That's really important. At Penn, for example, is over 50% graduate students. So graduate students are the majority on campus. And what that means in a practical sense is that the university is dedicating equal or more resources to its graduate students. You want to take a look at what kind of environment is provided for graduate students. Likewise, take a look at the demographics. Look at the diversity of the school. Look at who is attending. What kind of community will you have? Are there international students? And listen, you might not want a large international student population there, okay? Or you might want that. Either way, it's good. You just need to make yourself aware of that. That's the point. Penn, our school is about 34% international student. That might be too much, too little, just right for you. Either way, you want to find that out about the school, because that's going to give you a sense of the community that you'll have at the school. So I'm going to step aside for a second and just mention a little bit doctoral versus master's, okay? Because I talk to a lot of students all over, and I get a lot of questions about whether I should pursue a doctoral degree, a master's degree. I'm just going to say a few words briefly about this. I would say for most students, the master's degree is the appropriate degree to pursue. And I'll say that by explaining what a PhD is. Okay? The tendency is to think, well, the PhD is the top degree. That is the terminal degree. It is the top. That means it's the best. Well, I would push back a little bit. I would say, yes, it is in fact the terminal degree. It's the highest degree, you might say, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily the best degree for you. Okay? You could also describe a PhD not only as the highest degree, of course, but you could also, and one of our faculty, in fact, has described it this way, a PhD in the US is really entry-level job training. It's 4 to 6 years of your life, entry-level job training as an apprentice, learning how to become a professional researcher. That's what it is. It's a research degree. It is training you to be a professional researcher. So if your goal is to work in academia or research, something along those lines, if you desire to become a subject matter expert in that field, then it might be appropriate. But if your goal is something other than that, then a master's degree is probably the most appropriate degree for what you're trying to do. Just wanted to touch on that. And so I'll plug my country here for a bit, since I am at EdUSA after all, at the embassy. What are some advantages of studying in the US in general, right? Why come to the US? Australia's closer, right? So some things I'll say that I think are some distinctives about the US in general. How many people here have been to the United States? Got a show of hands. Anybody? Nobody? Really? Oh, great. Then I can tell you anything I want. You won't know. No. So some advantages of the U.S. In the United States, I'll start by describing it by subject. What you studied as an undergraduate does not necessarily direct what you will study at the graduate level. Okay? That's a constant question. That's a question that I get a lot. You'll say, well, I studied business as an undergrad, but I'm really interested in psychology at the graduate level, or what have you. I studied English, but now I want to go into business, or something along these lines. And that's perfectly okay. That's okay. You can do that. Because at the master's level, at the graduate level, we expect to teach you the subject. We don't expect you to come in, and there are a few exceptions to this, of course. Right? Some programs, check out the program, there will be some prerequisites, of course. But in general, we are going to train you in the program that we're offering. Okay? We're not looking at your past so much as what your future holds. So we want to see how your abilities, as demonstrated on tests and things of this nature, will allow you to move forward in the program. But what you study as an undergraduate is not necessarily determine what you have to study as a master's student. And also, there's such a plethora of degrees. I would say, too, that the application itself, you ever wonder why U.S. schools ask for so much out of your application? We ask for a lot. We ask for recommendations, we ask for an essay, resume, CV, test scores, all kinds of stuff, right? And other schools don't. I know some Australian schools don't. They just ask for a test or you just register. Why do you think we do this? Well, I'm not going to speak for all 5,000 some odd schools in America, but what I'll say about my school is that we ask for these things because we genuinely care about how you're going to fit into the program. We care about you. It might just sound cheesy, but that's true. We do. We really want to understand who you are. We want to understand what you're bringing and how you're going to contribute in the class. And so we're looking at all these different data points as part of the application. That gives us a sense of you as a whole person. It also means that not one single component is so critical. Okay? Some people test better than others. Some people have had more experience than others. Okay? It can all balance out. It can all balance out. That's important. The U.S. is a large country, so whatever kind of environment you're seeking, everything we stretch clear across. If you want to live and study in a very rural environment, then quiet countryside, we have that. Mountains, Arctic, tropical, desert, coastal, what have you. It's a large country. Any possible environment you're looking for, we have. And then, of course, price. So I'll say a note about the price, because I think this is an important thing to understand too. In the United States, there tends to be a breakdown somewhat between public universities and private universities. Now, Penn is a private university, and private universities tend to have a higher starting price, right? Public universities tend to have a lower starting price. So California State University would be less expensive, at least starting, than, say, the University of Pennsylvania. However, what you'll also find is that private universities, because they can control their own funds, have the ability to offer more financial aid. They offer more financial aid. And at our school, for example, 75-ish% of incoming students receive scholarship, plus graduate assistantships